qualifying here before the semi-finals under huge pressure. One of those is Freddie Lindgren, who's had a tough night. He's battled really hard. He's had 2 second places in his last 2 rides. He sits on 5 points, needs a win in his last one. So does Patrick Dudek, who slipped up last time. There's no doubt about that. Anders Thompson also in a very similar position. So those guys there outside the top 8 really fighting for their lives if they want to continue on in this Grand Prix. Max Frick was looking good there on 6 points after 3 rides and then slipped up himself with failing to score last time. It's tough out there. Consistency once again is proving to be key if you want to try and make your way through. Jack Holder there also, and Dan Bewley, after an electrifying start, has only actually scored 1 point from his last 2, so work to be done for Dan on 7 points. I think you're going to need at least 8 points, you know, tonight if you want to make the semis. At least. Might be 9. Might be 9 if you want to make it through.
Yeah, always hard to tell just before this last block of racing, but I think you're right. I think 8 points looks like a minimum, and Jason Doyle with that last place last time out, he went into that race on 7 points. He's put himself under a little bit of pressure. Yeah,
he was looking good with those back-to-back heat victories in his 2nd and 3rd rides, but just a little bit anxious on the inside gate there that proved to be costly. Just shows you it's tough, isn't it? We've seen some of the unexpected tonight with these awkward conditions where Bartosz Zmarzlik, one of the most composed riders out there, if not the most composed rider, touched the tapes in his 2nd ride when he had gate number 3. Great way to bounce back with 5 points from the next 2 heats. So he's given himself a very good chance. 8 points. Sits in 3rd place, actually, after 4 outings. Just shows you how open it is, this Grand Prix. Apart from the top 2, really and truthfully, right the way down into Freddie Lindgren in 12th place. It's wide open for the semi-finals.
Yeah, I shouldn't do it, but I can't help but look towards the end. Heat 20, Zmarzlik, Bewley, Lambert. Looks reasonably competitive.
Yeah, quite a handy one. I think I'll stick around for that one. But
don't leave early.
No, don't go home early, no. I'm delighted that the rain has stopped, because that really was becoming quite an irritant, wasn't it? When it came back in, I thought, oh, this is going to spoil it completely. Keeping an eye on Phil out there and cracking the whip a bit. He's desperately trying to make sure that not easy, is it? Because some places obviously still quite wet, and the material laying heavy, particularly on the entrance to the corner. You won't get the bike turned, will you, if you come into a whole pile of dirt going into the corner? Yeah,
that was always the problem with putting the equipment on, is that the dirt still is just that fraction too wet, and we can see that it's left a very heavy line. And I do like the fact that race director Phil Morris, I like his attention to detail, because you could have just said, oh yeah, that's the track grade, tractor's off, it's done. But no, he's looked at the track and said, no, I'm still not happy, we need a little bit of handiwork on that. And he's always got, you know, the racing and the rider's safety at mind.
Well, we're rattling through here. It's not quite 10 to 9 here, so we have made up for lost time, even though we had a delayed start. So we really have been getting through the heats at a rapid race. So credit to everybody out there, including riders, of course. So we're into the last round of heats before the semi-finals, with heat number 17. And semi-final places up for grabs here. And certainly there is for Freddie Lindgren, who's scored 4 points from his last 2 outings. He sits on 5 points in total, and needs a heat win here if he wants to make the semi-finals. Likewise for Anders Thompson, who won last time, albeit looking a little uncomfortable. Heat victories on the countback are going to be vital as well, of course. So if he manages to win this one as well, that would be very useful indeed. 2 heat wins would be a very good chance of making semi-finals with gate number 3. On the inside in red is Martin Vasilik. Gate number 2 in blue is Max Frick, searching for points. Anders Thompson likewise out of gate number 3 in white, and Freddie Lindgren off the outside in yellow. Wow, this is a tense race. All 4 of these guys, it's going right down to it. Yeah. Martin Vasilik is in there on 7, but he'll still want to push on.
Yeah, the 2 on the outside, Thompson and Lindgren, they both need to win this race. Only a race win, I fear, will do for those guys. Frick could possibly drop a point here, and certainly Martin Vasilik on 7, 2nd place, I would suggest would do him comfortably. But
sure,
no doubt on the outside, Thompson, Lindgren have to win.
Pressure cooker time then. This is when you've really got to step up to the plate. Test you mentally now. Can you produce when you really need to? sense that Freddie Lindgren has been really digging in after a poor start, 1 point from 2 rides. Hasn't won a race tonight. Would be a very handy time to win Heat 17, wouldn't it? Here we go then. Tapes up. Oh, long pause once again. Roar into the first corner, Martin Vasilik, but here comes Lindgren round the outside. Can he get out? Yes, he can! Superb stuff and fast Freddie Lindgren. Really needed it. We've got problems for the riders at the back. Anders Thompson, that's disappointment for him. But Lindgren, well, you can never catch him out. Martin Vasilik straightening up there. He's out of shape. He's on the back wheel. Frick comes through in a second place. A handy 2 points for Max Frick. But you said it, Chris. Freddie Lindgren needed to win the race. And wow, he's doing exactly that.
And didn't he know it? He was so brave around the first turn, out in the deep dirt, made it work for him. Max Frick has managed to get himself, by virtue of a mistake, though he's just made one himself there. That edge of the dirt line is very deep now and really giving them a few problems. Martin Vasilik's going to finish up on 8 points, may well be enough for him. And the same for Max Frick.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's going to be a countback situation tonight. They're all going to finish on 8 points. So going to be a bit of work for the FIM to do tonight. But Freddie Lindgren can do no more than that and finishes in style, punches the air. That's how much it meant to him. Showing great resolve. Disappointment for Anders Thompson. Gutted with that, just cut out the bike. Result then of Heat 17, 3 points for Lindgren. Very useful indeed. 2 points for Max Frick. 1 point for Martin Vasilik. All those 3 riders finishing on 8 points. Count back big time tonight. Martin Vasilik, there we see him. He's in the top 8 on 4th place right now. Lindgren in 5th. Frick in 6th. But the boys, Dan Bewley, Jason Doyle and Mikael Mikkelsen with rides to come could change that. So it's going to be awfully, awfully tight with 3 races to go before the semi-finals.
What a first turn this. From the rider in yellow there, Martin Vasilik in red, makes a good start, runs to the edge of the dirt. He hasn't gone far enough. If he wants to stop that run from Freddie Lindgren around the outside, he's got to go at least half a metre further than that. He allows him the racing room, does the right thing, and Freddie Lindgren doesn't need a second invitation. There's the mistake that cost him a point. Max Frick up the inside, but all 3 riders that finish this race finish up on 8 points. It's getting tight.
Martin Vasilik has 2 race wins. That will be very useful indeed. Yeah. Freddie Lindgren only 1. So Max Frick
has got himself 2 with a ride to go to.
Exactly, yeah, but he's in the driving seat, but they've finished, haven't they, on 5, so it'll be interesting to see which way that pans out. Heat number 18 then, excitement reigns here in Croatia tonight. On the inside in red is Patrick Dudek, needs points. Matej Janowski has had a disappointing night out of gate number 2 in blue. And Matti Zagar out of gate number 3 in white, the wild card. And Jason Doyle, who failed to score last time, going from the outside, made a stunning start from gate number 4 earlier on this evening. Needs another one here. He's on 7. At least a point, probably 2, will guarantee him. Doyle also has 2 race wins as well, so that's very useful when it comes to the conclusion of the qualifiers. Tapes are up. It's great stuff from the inside from Patrick Dudek. But here comes, Zagar going down. Could be a restart, but Doyle has hit the front. He hopes the red lights don't come on. They won't do because Zagar has managed to stay on board. Great stuff from the Australian, bouncing back after missing out last time. Dudek on in 2nd place. Not sure that'll be enough for him. We'll have to wait and see. But this is a strong showing here from the former world champion.
It is, yeah. It looks like he's enjoying the track. The outside, now that they've had a track grade, it's just dried out enough. It's heavy, it's working, there's plenty of grip in it. You can see the bikes pulling forward when the rider's back into it. They are riding into it quite tentatively. It's not full commitment just yet, but these are the conditions that Jason Doyle's happy to get stuck into.
Pulling away out in front now, the 2017 world champion. Really responding very well after missing out last time. Back in 2nd place, a country mile back in 2nd place. Certainly there for Patrick Dudek, and Janowski back in 3rd place. That sees Doyle through to the semi-finals, no doubt about that. Zagar still racing after getting in all sorts of trouble. Fair way behind, not been his night. He'll be disappointed with that. Won't be making the semi-finals this evening. Really has been a disappointing night for Matti Zagar, but for that man Jason Doyle coming through in flying colours there, that's for sure. And he moves nicely on to 10 points from his 5 completed rides. Doyle out in front, 3 points for him. Patrick Dudek back in second place, 2 points for Patrick. Probably won't be enough. We see the conclusion there. We've got the race points, 11 points for Lambert, but he's got a race to come. Doyle has finished on 10. That'll be enough from 5. Woofenden with a race to come, likewise with Martin Vasilik on 8. Lindgren on 8 as well, completed. Frick also. Bewley might have something to say here with a race to come. But a great effort from Jason Doyle, once again winning 2 races from the outside gate.
Yes, I think he might be tempted to pick the outside gate in the semi-finals if he gets a chance, because he is the man that's made it work twice now. See the front wheel there just bouncing off the ground for Jason Doyle. And he's always a lad, he's a strong lad, he's happy to ride out in the dirt, and the dirt line is now very heavy. It is working, but you've got to be brave to use it.
Not Matvey Janowski's night, that's for sure. A meeting to forget. 4 points, that's a desperately disappointing return for him. And as I say, in 2 weeks' time, we go on to Warsaw, the capital, and he'll be looking to bounce back to form for there. That's for sure. Heat number 19, riders up at tapes. And rattling through these qualifying heats, that's for sure. And once again, the tension really rising here with riders desperately wanting to pick up as many points as they possibly can. Leon Madsen, he will go from the inside in red. Mikkel Mikkelsen, his compatriot, alongside it in the blue helmet colour. Gate 2, Gate 3 in white is Ty Woofenden on 10 points. And Jack Holder, well, huge race for Jack Holder. Absolutely has to win the race if he's got any chance at all of making the top 8 tonight. But I think it's going to be difficult because even if he wins this, he'll only have 1 race win, which really means he just won't get there. Here we go then. Leon Madsen on the inside. Mikkelsen's made a smashing start out of Gate 2, but Jack Holder, wow, that gate number 4 really working well. Ty Woofenden, oh, that's untidy coming out of turn 2. Certainly there for Leon Madsen. Not quite sure what happened to him there, but he's looking down. Now Woofenden inheriting 3rd place. Got to say, Jack Holder, look at the outside line, look. Yeah, oh, he's beginning to work with Woofenden, trying to find a way through and get into 2nd place. If he finishes there, he'll finish on 11, which is quite come to look at Jack Holder showing off there. Absolutely sensational stuff from Jack Holder.
I don't think it was an intentional showing off move, but he's happy, he's out front, he's young, he's enjoying himself, he won't worry too much about the conditions. Ty Woofenden still just trying to find an extra point, but I think he's already in the driving seat as far as the semi-finals qualification goes, so happy just to ride this one out.
One last blast here. Leon Madsen hasn't been his night. He's got a lap to go, but for Jack Holder, a win there in his last ride, but I don't think that's going to be enough for the Australian. And it's no question that he's done his level best there off gate number 4, but with only 1 race win and so many riders on 8 points with 2 wins, I fear that for young Jack, he may just miss out on the semi-finals tonight. But nonetheless, a confidence-boosting ride there to complete his qualifying race. Like Matvey Janowski, Leon Madsen, it has not been his night. He finishes on 4 points. And the world number 2, that is not what he was looking for at all.
No, disappointing night for the rider here in the red helmet colour. He just doesn't make the start, runs around the inside, almost collects the back of compatriot there, Mikkel Mikkelsen, and allows Ty Woofenden to get past. We can see there he actually collides with Mikkelsen as Mikkelsen looks to cover the inside line, and that is a disappointing end to a disappointing night for Leon Madsen. His challenge has faltered a little bit at the beginning, then he left in this series to go, but Ty Woofenden, he puts the effort in for a couple of laps and then realises that he doesn't need to take the risks, needs to keep himself in 1 bit.
Result then of heat number 19, 3 points for Jack Holder. Mikkelsen back in 2nd place, 2 points. Ty Woofenden, 1 point for him. And we see the score chart now after the situation of heat 990. And Robert Lambert still clearly out in front, and Ty Woofenden on 11 points as well. But Lambert's got a race to come. But disappointment for Leon Madsen. Last season, of course, he didn't miss a semi-final. So clearly a disappointing start for his campaign. But there are 9 rounds to go, so plenty of time to make up the deficit. But heat number 20 will see the completion of the qualifying heats, and that man on 11 points with a race in hand He has only dropped 1 point tonight, really has been in stunning form. World champion on the inside in red, Bartosz Marslik. Gate number 2 in blue is Dan Bewley. Robert Lambert out of gate 3 in white, and Kim Nielsen, the new man in the Grand Prix Series, off the outside in the yellow. Bartosz Marslik, after touching the tapes earlier on, has responded brilliantly. One last time out, he's on 8 points. Good clash this, terrific lineup. Could be the final for the three boys on gates 1, 2 and 3. Which way is it going to go now? Here we go. Bewley's made a smashing start out of gate number 2, fires himself to the front. Nielsen round the outside, hustling the bike. Smarslik, though, powers down the back straight, forces his way into second place. Robert Lambert out of gate 3. Gate 3 really is quite awful, isn't it? Lambert really riding so strongly, but what a start from Bewley. Just slipped up in the middle part of the meeting, but is going to finish off in style here.
Yeah, and Smarslik was super brave on the first lap there. He kept the bike driving all the way into the corner, but Dan Bewley is the one that's carrying the most speed. He's riding right on the edge of the dirt line. He's got the bike going as fast as it can possibly go around this circuit.
Fantastic.
And looking very, very good.
Fantastic stuff from Dan Bewley, just loves it, carrying more and more speed, enjoying himself out in front. Got to say, this is Bartosz Marslik moving on to 10 points, but for Dan Bewley, another very useful win here coming into his last ride. And he's going to move nicely on now. He'll finish on 11 points. Great stuff from him. 10 points for the world champion. Robert Lambert will finish on 11 after slipping up in his last ride there in heat number 20. But for Dan Bewley, that was a super start. That was a tough race. Pressure was on, and he absolutely flew out of gate number 2. He picks up the win on the 3 points. World champion Smarslik back in second place, 2 points for him. Kim Nielsen, 1 point, and Robert Lambert missing out. Lambert finishes on 11, so does Woofenden. Bewley moving on to 10 points from 5 rides. Doyle on 10 as well. What a turnaround that is. Smarslik also on 10. How tight is this? And the final qualifier looks like it might be Jack Holder. I'm interested to see which way that's going to go. Max Frick on 8 as well. He had 1 win. It's going to be who beat who, isn't it? It's quite complicated. But at this stage, we've got Holder in, who I thought might just miss out. But we'll see whether that changes in the next few moments. But heat number 20, Dan Bewley, textbook stuff from him.
Rockets from the start, goes straight to the edge of the dirt. I can see there, the back wheel just hits that berm of dirt. There you've got Smarslik making the bike drive all the way down the straight and actually into the corner. I'm not sure he fully intended to launch himself into turn 3 with quite that much speed, but it gets the job done with Kim Nielsen behind him. And Dan Bewley, well, he just went on lap after lap, pulling away from the current world champion, generating speed, just riding with the back wheel on the edge of the dirt in the berm. And I think you can see there an appreciation from Smarslik for what Bewley has just done.
Oh, and he's more than aware of the speed that Dan Bewley has and the threat that he poses, that's for sure. And this man, like Robert Lambert, Ty Woofenden riding great guns tonight, they are all doing the business. And Jason Doyle in the thick of the action as well. Riders with a lot of British experience here coming to the fore and handling the conditions very well indeed. So we now wait for the semi-finals. Before then, we will get some more reaction for you from the pit area, no doubt about that. But we're going to be able to hear from Leon Madsen now. He's going to join Scotty Nicholls down in the pits.
Yeah, Leon Madsen joins me. Leon, obviously not the night you're planning for the opening round. It's a tough night. You're just saying that it wasn't enjoyable out there.
No, definitely not enjoyable, but yeah, they did the best with the track. And I don't know, I just talked with the boys in the pit here, and it's hard to say what's really happened tonight. I felt like I made some decent gates, but then out of first corner I was just last. So we have to analyze the meeting, and yeah, it is what it is, and just have to deal with it and come back stronger next time.
Yeah, that's it. It's racing. Probably didn't help having gate 3 twice, and a couple of times you actually made too good a start and got snookered in the first turn. But like you said, you try and take the positives. What's been the conversation with the boys?
Yeah, we just had a quick talk before this interview, and we just talked about the starts wasn't that bad, and that's what we try to improve for this season. And they looked all right. Still not the best, but they looked all right. And we were there going into the first corner, but then going out of the first corner we were last. So yeah, we have to figure out what went wrong or or if it's just simply wasn't my day. I was just not good enough today, I think, and yeah, that's how it is sometimes. We're going to come back stronger for sure.
Definitely. Well, you have to take the positive, so I appreciate you talking to me. Still an awful long way to go.
It is, sure. Nine rounds left, and still a lot of points to cut.
Definitely is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, fair play to Leon Madsen for fronting up there. It's a disappointing night for him. But as he says there, in conclusion to the interview with Scott, there are 9 rounds to go and plenty of World Championship points available, and he can put the wrongs right in the next couple of weeks. This is awfully tight, and for the last qualifying positions here.
Not official yet.
So we haven't quite had it confirmed. Had it confirmed because Jack Holder, actually briefly, we looked like he was in 8th place, but I'm not entirely sure exactly which way that's going to fall. Martin Vasilik is on 8 points. He's had 2 race wins. Got to believe that that will see him through. Then Jack Holder on 8 with 1 win. Freddie Lindgren likewise exactly the same. Max Frick on 8 with 1 win. It's going to come down to who met who and who beat who. And fortunately, that's somebody else's problem. And
yes,
because I'm not good enough at maths to work that one out. So, but it's been in difficult conditions. I must say that everybody has done sterling work here. From the riders to the track staff to the race director. Collectively has been a terrific effort. We'll take a look at the gate stats once again for you, and the outside gate now is level pegging with the inside gate, and we have seen that come on strong. Gate number 3, well, you just know that you don't want that in the semi-finals or the final. Gate number 2, we saw Dan Bewley made a smashing start out of there in heat number 20, so you can win from there, but certainly the inside gate and the outside gate, I would suggest, are going to be pretty popular in the semi-finals.
Hypothetically, Kelvin, you're in the semi-final, you've got first pick. Inside gate?
I think do you know, that's a tough call, that is. It's quite a high-risk strategy, isn't it, going from the outside? If you don't get there, you can hit. But there is grip on the outside now. We've seen guys beginning to, so may well be tempted to have a go at that. Certainly Jason Doyle would, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's made it work twice.
He has, so he'll be hoping that he gets the opportunity for that. Nice to see half a smile from Jason, but
yeah, he's not committed to a full one yet. No. I think he feels half the job is done.
Well, he's in a good position, and he's after just that blip where he got a bit anxious on the inside gate, he bounced back with a smashing win. We are waiting at this stage for the confirmation on the countback for the top 8. We have got several riders on 8 points. Martin Vasilik, I believe, is safe because he's got 2 race wins. The countback will be between Jack Holder, Freddie Lindgren and Max Frick, who have all finished on 8 with 1 heat victory each. It will come down to who met who and who beat who, and then potentially, if they can't split that, it will be how many second places you've got, and so on. So they are just having to crunch the numbers a little bit here in Croatia tonight. It's been terrific night considering the difficult and challenging conditions that we've had. That man there started, well, he got himself tied up in knots in his first ride, but has really battled on and has had 2 second places and a win in his last 3 rides. If only he could have started slightly better, then he would have been comfortably through. But as I say, well, they'll have to be patient. A tense wait for those 3 riders that are all on 8 points. Great stuff from the world champion as well, Chris, wasn't it? Because all of a sudden he shocked us all with that take when he touched the tapes, but showed great class to turn it all around.
Well, that's the difference, you know. That's the class that the guy has got. He can make those mistakes and then he can come back from them. He doesn't let it rattle him. You know, he knew that every race was going to be tough because you weren't just battling in the early heats with your 3 other competitors. You were battling with the track. And yeah, he had a job to do and he got it done, and I'm sure he's feeling a lot more confident now.
He is indeed, but he'll be wary of Dan Bewley. If Bewley hits the front, you won't see which way he goes. He is so fast.
No one will pass him.
No, exactly right. And Bewley, these sort of conditions, if he sits on the edge of the dirt, he is absolutely dynamite when it comes to that sort of racing. He looks comfortable, he enjoys going that quick. Woofenden's
in fairness, I could say the same thing with Woofenden. Smiles, look, if they hit the front edge of the dirt, can you see anybody passing him?
No, I agree with that. Robert Lambert also likewise, I think, is more than capable of doing something similar. But Bewley in that heat number 20 under immense pressure with some class around him certainly came up with a really brilliant start there. But for Ty Woofenden, a much improved performance. He finished 13th in the Grand Prix here 12 months ago. Very different performance tonight, sitting on 11 points from his 5 outings, looking set for a good semi-final. And apologies for that, we just got blasted out there by some music coming through our headphones, but I think I was in the fact that Ty Woofenden and Robert Lambert will both get the opportunities for decent picks for the semi-finals.
How much of an effect is last place in your final heat going to have on Robert Lambert? Because he's probably, I would suggest, up until that point, been the best rider on show tonight.
Yeah, it was unexpected, but he had gate 3 in his last ride, and it was a tough race. And when you got Bartosz Marslik and Dan Bewley on the inside, I think it was, you know, added to the fact that with the gate number 3 really proving to be very difficult indeed, I don't think he can concern himself too much with that. No. He's not going to have gate 3 in the semi-final, so I think he should put that to the back of his mind. Still waiting for the outcome of this countback between 3 riders here on 8 points. Holder, Lindgren and Frick. That's what we're waiting for. Quite clearly, it's quite complex.
No, I wouldn't want the job. Holder beat Lindgren and Frick beat Holder. It's quite complicated.
Yeah, it is, and then it may come down to how many second places you got, and so on until it's... but these boys are having to wait very patiently. Freddie Lindgren there looking calm and collected. Marslik and Woofenden have a nice little chat while they concern themselves with the final qualifying place on the night. 6 World Championships between the two there, and will one of them make it 4 this year? Could very well be the case. I just sense that if Woofenden really gets on a roll, he could put plenty of pressure on Bartosz Marslik in 2023, that's for sure. And on the evidence of the way he's ridden in difficult conditions tonight, Woofenden looks like he's almost back to his best.
Yeah, early days, of course, but I like what I've seen of Ty Woofenden so far, even qualifying. You know, last year he never really looked convincing in qualifying.
Different boy, different rider.
Today, looked really happy out there, giving it everything he got.
Indeed he does. Tense times. These guys are obviously comfortable because they know they're in. They haven't got any concerns. Mickelson on 9, so he's comfortably in through to the semi-finals. It's a nervous wait for the other lads that are all sitting on 8 points. Clearly this is quite a countback.
No, I don't think I've ever taken one, known one take so long.
No, agreed, and it is taking some time. Once again, I must say it's been a brilliant night considering the difficult conditions everybody's done. It's been a difficult night and everybody's done superbly well. Well, it looks like Freddie Lindgren has got the last spot. If that's right, and it's now confirmed on our screens that Freddie Lindgren gets the final qualifying place for the semi-finals. Jack Holder and Max Frick, the disappointment for them. Took some time, but Lindgren, starting with 1 point from 2 rides, never threw the towel in, finishes with 2 second places and a win. And fair play to him. And we will see him almost certainly coming off gate 3 in one of the semi-finals.
I would suggest so,
but,
yes.
But you never can count Freddie out. And it just shows you that that sheer determination has sent him through there. But got to feel a little bit for Jack Holder and Max Frick as well there. Max Frick actually was looking good there, but that failing to score in his 4th ride really cost him in the end, you know.
Yeah, that 1 point, he dropped 1 point with that mistake going from 3rd to last.
Yeah.
And that's made all the difference.
Yeah, exactly. So disappointment for him, but he's got fond memories to look forward to, of course. He won in the Narodowy Stadium in Warsaw. We're going there in 2 weeks' time, so I'm sure he's excited about that. And riders now will be called forward very shortly for the draw, which will be conducted by the race director, Phil Morris. And they will be coming forward very shortly for the first semi-final. And so the boys for the first semi-final coming forward very shortly. Robert Lambert will be definitely part of that. And Martin Vasilik also involved. Interesting point now with those gate stats that we saw earlier, Chris. You pointed out which way would you go. Not an easy shout. And
Čuli ste kako će izgledati polufinala, još jednom upravo polufinalu crvena pozicija Robert Lambert, mlada pozicija Jason Doyle, bijela pozicija Mikkel Mikkelsen i žuta pozicija Martin Vasilik. So first semi-final, again red position Robert Lambert, blue position Jason Doyle, white position Mikkel Mikkelsen and yellow position Martin Vasilik. Drugo polufinala je pišite brzo. Crvena pozicija Ty Woffinden, plava pozicija Daniel Bewley, bijela pozicija Bartosz Zmarzlik i žuta pozicija Fredrik Lindgren. Second semi-final, red position Ty Woffinden, blue position Daniel Bewley, white position Bartosz Zmarzlik and on yellow position Fredrik Lindgren. Pričekat ćemo još nekoliko minuta i vidjeti ovu svoricu majstora na dijelu.
One is Robert Lambert. Robert, please select your start color. Robert selects the blue gate position. Next to make his selection is Jason Doyle. Jason, please select your start color. Jason selects the yellow gate position. Next to make the selection is Mikkel Mikkelsen, who selects the red gate position. And Martin Vasilik will take the white position as the last rider in the semi-final.
So there we are, the lineup for the first semi-final is Mikkelsen on the inside in red. Alongside him is Robert Lambert, who chose gate number 2 first in blue, and Martin Vasilik out of gate number 3 in white, and Jason Doyle will be happy
and the
to go
first
from the
selection
outside.
in semi-final 2 goes to Ty Woffinden. Please select your color. Ty selects the yellow gate position. Next to make the selection is Dan Bewley. Dan, please select your color for semi-final 2. Dan selects the blue gate position. Next to make the selection is Bartosz Zmarzlik. Bartek, please select your color and go straight for the red gate position. And the final rider in semi-final 2 is Fredrik Lindgren, who selects the white gate position. Thank you, guys.
So there we are then. What a lineup in semi-final number 2. Incredible lineup there with Zmarzlik on the inside in red. Bewley alongside him, who was undecided there. I'm surprised he gave Zmarzlik the inside gate. Gate 2 for him. Lindgren out of gate 3 and Ty Woffinden off the outside. Look forward to semi-final number 2, but semi-final number 1 also a good-looking lineup, but there's no doubt the clash of the Titans in that second semi-final. Tough one to call that, that's for sure.
No surprise that gate 4 was as popular as it was. It's won 7 of the last 8 heats.
Oh, good shout there, Chris. Brilliant stuff. Nick Scorgia there, just going in to settle down to watch the action. Could be red hot here. Track's improving, and the rain has stayed away. That man there has won 2 races already off the outside. Would have been delighted to have had the opportunity to take gate 4. And could he make it 3 wins out of 3 off the outside gate? Wouldn't put it past him. And Jason Doyle looking for a final here this evening, looking to resurrect his Grand Prix career, you would say. Has had a hard time in recent years. Robert Lambert, after just missing out on his last one, chose gate 2 in the first semi-final, went for that, left that inside gate for a rider. Got to back yourself, Mikkel Mikkelsen. Will he be able to take advantage coming away from the inside? He got the 3rd choice there and had the inside gate, which is the equal best gate on the night, so far from a poor outcome. And then, of course, Martin Vasilik coming out of the dreaded gate number 3.
I've got to say, Lambert's showing a lot of confidence picking gate 2.
I do, I agree with you.
If you take out Bewley's ride in the last one, it hadn't won a race since heat 9.
Yeah, and also Bewley. But Bewley had fond memories, didn't he, from heat 20 coming out of there, and I'm sure that's what's influenced the decision for the semi-final number 2. Crunch time, this is when they hand out the big World Championship points. We've been here in Croatia tonight. It's the Technics FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Croatia. It's been a tough night. The rain came in just before the meeting got underway. We had a delay. There was plenty of discussion. Phil Morris working hard on and off the track, trying to get the meeting underway. Got underway. Then the rain came back in again, Chris, and we thought for a moment that it was going to be another delay, but incredibly, we just kept powering on through. And the racing, well, it hasn't been the best, but it certainly hasn't been the worst either.
No, and they've given the riders every chance for the semi-finals as well. It was a long track grade. They've pulled a load of dirt off the track, actually, just to make that transition from the slick to the grip a little bit less. And I think that's a good move. I think the riders will move into the dirt with a little bit more confidence now.
So we could see some of the best racing of the night now as the track conditions are improving. So semi-final number 1 on its way. Martin Vasilik coming through with 8 points. He's got the dreaded gate to number 3. Going to need a minor miracle there if you're going to make the final. They've got a warning for Jason Doyle for the movement on the inside gate earlier on in the evening. So he will go from the outside this time. So a good-looking lineup. Always is, of course, at this time of the night. This is when it comes down to want to make the final, don't you? Don't want to dip out now. Top 2 going through. Still good points on the line here, of course, in the semi-finals, but you want to make the final if at all possible. On the inside in red, then, is Mikael Mikkelsen. Made the final here last year on the rostrum. Robert Lambert hasn't won a Grand Prix. Will it be his night? He's out of gate number 2 in blue. Gate number 3 in white is Martin Vasilik. And off the outside, the Australian Jason Doyle in the yellow helmet colour. He's loving it out there. He's won 2 races this evening from the outside gate. And did not hesitate, did he? He just went straight for it.
Very happy with that.
He was indeed. Robert Lambert has backed himself to come out of gate 2. You are a little bit vulnerable at this stage of the night. If that man on the inside makes a really good one, you could be in problems going into the first corner. Tense times, Grand Prix Speedway back on our screens, and we're delighted to bring it to you tonight. As I've said earlier, it's been a difficult night, but I've got to say there's been plenty of resolve from everybody concerned. Here we go then. First semi-final of the year. Tapes are up. Away we go. Even break to the first corner. What a start from Doyle. Doyle across there. Here comes Robert Lambert through on the gate number 2. It's just about paid off for him. Mikkelsen back in 3rd place. Mistake. Doyle Lambert looking it there, but they're clear. They're away. Lambert looking threatening in 2nd place, but Jason Doyle in the outside start, working well again.
Yeah, the top 2 have stretched a little bit of a gap, but you can never be too sure. Lambert will just be happy to tuck in, take the 2nd place behind Jason Doyle at this stage, I would suggest, but having a little sneaky look up the inside.
Lambert's fast in 2nd place. Doyle just running a little wide there. Lost a bit of momentum, but as they approach the last lap here, 1 lap to go to make the final. Doyle out in front, looking good. Hits the dirt, powers away. That's better from Doyle this time. Robert Lambert comfortably in 2nd place. They're through to the final. First semi of the year, Doyle's through. In the final, Lambert as well. Mikkelsen misses out this year, having made the final last year. And Martin Vasilik out of the graveyard that is gate number 3, misses out. Doyle out in front, he's in the final. Lambert in 2nd place, joins him. Mikael Mikkelsen missing out this time in 3rd place, and Martin Vasilik back in 4th. Tough work, but they won't be in the final. For that man, Jason Doyle, delighted and looking good. Some of the decisions clearly working well here this evening, looking good.
Yeah, he didn't make the best jump. The first metre off the start was maybe not as good as possibly all 3 of the other riders, but boy did he make the bike work to the corner, got straight across. There he collects a hole early part of the corner. That forces him to turn the bike really hard, gets himself in a bit of a muddle. Look like Lambert might be able to make the cutback, but he doesn't make it work for him, and I think he's happy after about the second, third lap just to follow him round and make the semi-final. But Jason Doyle will be very happy with that.
Do you know, when you see that in slow motion, Chris, it looks really quite untidy.
Yeah, it was.
And he was having to use a lot of upper body strength there to hang on to the motorbike. But Doyle's a tough customer. He's super fit, clearly delighted to be in the final.
And he was so disappointed after slipping down the qualification charts, finishing up in 15th place earlier on in the day. So made all the right moves.
Indeed he has. So now we move on to semi-final number 2. There it is. And what a lineup it is. It really is quite a strong lineup here. Freddie Lindgren out of gate number 3. Nobody can win races there. It just hasn't worked this evening. It really has been problematic for riders. Martin Vasilik slipping up in the semi-final as well. Bartosz Marslik off that inside gate. Dan Bewley has given him that. And that is a big call, a really big call. Let's
shows a lot of confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah, I do hope it proves to be successful. But here we go then. The lineup for semi-final number 2. Camera on the start marshal. Just keeping an eye on the riders. On the inside of the world champion, Bartosz Marslik in red. Gate number 2 in blue is Dan Bewley. Freddie Lindgren will come out of gate number 3 in white, and Ty Wolfenden elected to go from the outside in the yellow helmet colour. He'll be quite happy about that. Jason Doyle certainly made a nice run round that outside, but don't count out Freddie Lindgren. Lindgren will be a tough customer here. He's been in this situation on many occasions, so he has got into the semi-finals by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, and he's improved with every race as well throughout the night.
Yeah, he had a difficult start, didn't he?
Yeah.
But as you rightly say, he's got better the longer the night's gone on. So will he be able to produce something a bit special from that gate 3? It's not going to be easy. But two of them are going to miss out. This is a very tough semi-final, that's for sure. Who's going to join Jason Doyle and Robert Lambert in the final this evening? Will it be Smarslik on the inside, looking to try and repeat the victory he secured to lead the World Championship 12 months ago here in Croatia? Or will it be Dan Bewley, or will it be Wolfenden? Here we go then. Second semi-final, we're underway. They roar into the first corner. Smarslik and Wolfenden. Wolfenden around the outside. Bewley's missed out that time. He's back in 4th place with Lindgren now coming through into 3rd. The world champion out in front. Hits the dirt. Paraguay. Oh! Where did Lindgren come from? Oh my goodness, what a move now. Wolfenden's going to have to really work overtime now if he wants to get back into 2nd place. Super move from Lindgren.
Super move. He weighed it up. He saw Ty Wolfenden just going for the dirt line, realised there was a little bit of virgin dirt right around the curve, and Lindgren nearly gets collected there by Ty Wolfenden and the 2 Brits at the back. Meanwhile, Bartosz Marslik is just checking out at the front.
Well, Freddie Lindgren, you said you can never count him out. You said, Chris, he's got better the longer the night's gone on. What a stunning ride from him. The world champion out in front, though, has stolen the march. Bitter disappointment for Wolfenden and Dan Bewley. Here we see it now. Smarslik through to the final, joined by Freddie Lindgren. Wow, how on earth has he done that? Just sense that maybe Wolfenden just left an opportunity there. Tough to call, though. For Dan Bewley, maybe the choice of, he may reflect on choosing gate number 2, proved to be the wrong one to do. But
yeah,
for
sometimes you have to look at what you're doing, what you're leaving somebody else.
You're leaving the world champion the inside gate. So he may rethink that next time around. It's all about experience. But that man nails it. It's Bartosz Marslik. You can't keep the man down. Here we see it again, Chris.
Yeah, cracking stuff. And Smarslik knew exactly what he was doing, made himself plenty of room going into the corner. And at this point, I've got to say, it looks like Wolfenden's got this tied up. He's just got to sit around. But look on the inside there. There's a load of dirt that nobody's ridden on. And Lindgren uses all of his experience just to creep right around the inside. You can see Ty Wolfenden realises straight away, I've left a hole. and Lindgren's just filled it. And great ride, great opening lap from Lindgren.
It was indeed, and then Ty Woofenden got himself in a bit of a problem there, and that gave the breathing space that Freddie Lindgren needed. But an opportunist move there from Freddie Lindgren, and he has turned his night around. You would not have put money on Freddie Lindgren making the final this evening, but fair play to him, he certainly has. And Dan Bewley and Ty Woofenden, who had such a strong night, coming into the semi-finals on 11 and 10 points respectively. But once again, the class, the determination, the composure of the world champion coming through there off the inside gate and doing the business. And he wouldn't put it past him, winning again here for the second consecutive year in Donja Kraljevic in the Millennium Stadium here. Really has hotted up now. Shame about that rain earlier on. It did just spoil conditions a bit. Fair play to everybody, but all of a sudden now it's drier. The racing really has improved dramatically.
Yeah, and the second lot of rain, you know, just slowed the progress of the track. I think the track would have come to us much quicker had we not have had that. But got to say, credit to all 16 riders involved tonight. They have given it their all. They've entertained us, and it's got better and better and better. And I really can't call this final. Doyle, Lambert, Smarslik, Lindgren. Tough one.
It is a tough one. Sense that the red-hot favourite coming into the series, Smarslik, will be the favourite for the win here this evening. He's made the final, but Doyle is looking good. But nonetheless, big points on the line. Freddie Lindgren almost miraculously getting through there was I think he just a cheeky move around the inside there, just caught Ty Woofenden just by surprise, wasn't it? I think Woofenden looked at it and thought, where on earth have you come from?
Yeah, well, Lindgren made that decision so early going down the back straight. He just was watching every move of Ty Woofenden, and as soon as he moves out, that's it. He knew exactly what he wanted to do.
A disappointment for Dan Bewley there. May just reflect in the next 24 hours on that decision to take gate number 2 in semi-final 2 when the world champion was going to line up right alongside it. He was indecisive. He actually went to take gate 1 and then at the last second decided to go to gate number 2. So let's get some more reaction now. Scotty Nichols is down in the pits. He's going to be joined by Ty Woofenden now.
Ty Woofenden, much better improvement on last year. I know you're going to be frustrated, but there's got to be some positives to take from tonight.
Yeah, for sure. You know, where it was this time last year was a whole different story. So I'm super excited to get the rest of the season underway. It's nice to get the first one out the way, and you know, the boys just like, oh, did we make something with the bikes? And I was like, no, it was just my mistake. I went in deep and gave Fred the inside. So just an error on my point, and we won't make that again. But
no, but in fairness, sometimes when you make those errors because you're racing for the lead and not trying to settle for second.
Yeah, like I felt like I had good pace on the first lap, and I was like, oh, I'll just toe in on the outside, and then all of a sudden Fred was there. So fair play. He was hooking on the inside, but I can hear him on the PA. So massive thanks to all the fans in Croatia and everyone that's travelled out. Hope you have a great night. Thank you.
Thanks, chatting onwards and upwards.
Yeah, good to hear from Ty, and a very honest interview there. Just saying he left too much room for Freddie Lindgren around the inside, and fair play to him. But encouraging performance from Ty Woofenden, that's for sure, and I just sense he's going to have a major part to play in this championship.
The first rider to make his selection is Jason Doyle. Please select your colour for the final. Jason selects the yellow gate position. Next to make his selection is Bartosz Smarslik, and Bartek selects the red gate position. Third to make the selection is Robert Lambert. Robert, select your colour. Robert selects the blue gate position. And the final rider, Fredrik Lindgren, will select the white gate position. Thank you, guys.
So there we go then, the first final of the year. Smarslik, the world champion, off the inside in red. Lambert off gate number 2 in blue. Lindgren out of gate number 3 in white. And Jason Dog off the outside in yellow. Fancy Smarslik off the inside once again here. Freddie Lindgren, well, you just wouldn't put it past him winning there from the gate number 3. It was a terrific ride in the semi-final to make the final. But nonetheless, Robert Lambert in a final, first Grand Prix of the season. Could he win his first Grand Prix of his career? Fantastic opportunity for him, but he's going to have to get the better of the world champion. He's going to have to really make a stunning start to get the better of Smarzlik on the run to the first corner. So fans just waiting patiently for 4 more action laps here this evening. The big final here this evening. Let's just bring you some information about the all-time GP stats. Obviously Greg Hancock out in front, Jason Crump there on 77, Thomas Gollop 65, Ty Woffenden missing out. Bartosz Smarzlik in the final tonight on 45. He'll join Ty Woffenden on 46 finals. Freddie Lindgren there on 41 at the end of the completion of the night. So 2 lads there on that pretty special list, and they will be competing in just a few moments' time. But for that man, world champion back in 2017, had 2 stunning years actually. 16 and 17 really were outstanding for Jason Doyle, but then has found it tough in recent times. But encouraging performance here this evening, as it is for Robert Lambert. Just blipped in his 5th qualifying ride, but hasn't allowed that to affect him, with coming through quite comfortably in his semi-final behind Jason Doyle. But I do believe that the man they've got to keep their eyes on is that one. Smarzlik, the world champion, off the inside gate. He won't be disappointed to be there.
No, he won't. I think the gate draw there was pretty predictable. Anybody in this stadium probably could have predicted how that would go with the order that they came out. Jason Doyle very happy to be on the outside gate, and I think Smarzlik very happy to be on the inside. Robert Lambert chose to go off gate 2 previously, so he won't be too disappointed, and Lindgren will be just wondering what he's got to do from gate 3.
Yeah, but with the world champion on the inside of you, it is a tough call to that run to that first corner, but who knows? It could just be Robert Lambert's night. But for Jason Doyle, apart from one poor ride where he just got a bit anxious on the inside gate, he has had a pretty smooth run through this evening, winning 3 races from the outside gate. Could he make it 4 here in the all-important final here this evening in Croatia? It's been a terrific night of Speedway considering the conditions we've encountered, and there's no doubt that these riders really have dug in and shown great skill and determination to power their way through to get to the completion of the meeting.